Welcome back, Inebri-ites. This is the rare double guest episode. We haven't done one of these in a long time, but it's a very international episode today because we have people from all over the globe, and we're talking about a documentary about someone from another country. So it's going to be like I'm very excited. So we have Maxima Derevianko. Was I close?
Yes,
All right,
Maxim Derevianko, yes.
thank you, and Christine La Monte.
La Monte.
Lamont. All right. Damn it. um,
It's
and
okay.
and you guys are working on a documentary, or worked on a documentary, about Ai Weiwei, who
Yes.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even know of until this kind of PR came across my email, and I started looking into it. And I'm like, how did I not know about this person? They're so interesting. Like, what was it about Ai Weiwei that got you guys like involved in this, and like how the whole project come about?
Yeah, so the whole project started, well, in 2018. I started to write. I was working at the Rome Opera House as
Mm-hmm.
a videographer, was doing for them commercials mainly. And then after 3-4 years, I decided, okay, I want to do a documentary. I want to tell the story of this place, especially the lives that comes together to bring on stage these productions. And then, yeah, I found an Italian production company, and together with the writer Michele Cogo, we were just looking at the next season, and we saw that in 2020, Ai Weiwei would direct the Puccini's opera Turandot. And we saw, okay, this will be something special because has never directed any kind of opera. He said that this was his first and last opera to direct, and and also he has a complete fresh eyes on opera. So he didn't approach to the opera as just like all other opera directors, but as an artist, contemporary artist, with his political activist vision. And so we knew we will find like an incredible contact. And yeah, then we have been through a lot because it took like almost 3 years to make it, even if everything had to be like in actually 1 month. And then at some point, we needed help because we shot some things in New York, and we needed an American production company. And then I said, maybe I know someone, and I know Christine's like since 2013, 2014, something like.
2012, and
Yeah,
I
12.
brought Maxime on another film, Viva Verdi, and he was a DP on that. But the background, the interesting background too, is Maxime was working at the Rome Opera House, and it's in his DNA, this whole beautiful artistic approach. His great grandfather was the first violinist, and his mother was a ballet dancer on the
Oh wow.
stage. Yeah, at the Rome Opera House. So it's beautiful background.
Yeah, and yeah, then we asked to I wrote to Christine, hey, I have this project, I'm doing this about Ai Weiwei. Would you like to help us? Maybe, we needed some bureaucratic stuff and everything. And she said, oh, yeah, I want to be producer. So yes, great. And that's how Christine got involved.
Yeah, very exciting. I had, in LA, Ai Weiwei is many installations here, including the UTA art space that he created. So I've been a great follower, and I've met him a couple of times through some Academy events when he was doing the Human Flow. So it was exciting for me to be involved in a project like this, and we knew it was going to be a little much different than anything else and activist driven. So I was excited about that. And then I brought on Andy Cohen as a producer. He had also worked with Ai Weiwei on a few films. And then he brought in Julian Lennon as an executive producer. And then I brought in Marcy Polier. So, and that's the team with Marta Zaccarone, we have a co-production, Italy and America, with my company. So her company is Insipid Film. That's the team.
It's really interesting, and I am very unfamiliar with opera. I have a neighbor who's a huge opera fan who's travels to Italy to see opera. Um, where Ai Weiwei kind of like really tries to modernize it and make it political. Is that something that is like, is there pushback from like traditional opera fans about that? Like how his interpretation accepted amongst like the diehard opera fans?
Well, of course, there are more traditional fans and there are more like experimental fans. So yeah, that's like one of the big question in the theater world. How much do I have to renew an opera? I feel that there are some stories that they definitely can be renewed because like Turandot, the values and the story that he's telling is so contemporary today that because it's basically a caliph who is an exiled that basically wants to fight Turandot, who is the princess of China, and she is like a tyrann, like a dictator, and basically probably I don't, it's. Probably the most contemporary things that you can now hear because it's like unfortunately almost everywhere. And yeah, for who doesn't know who is Ai Weiwei, um, I mean, he got very important after. I mean, he fought for human rights, free speech in China, and because of that, he basically got kidnapped by the Chinese government for 81 days, and only because what he did before that was so symbolic, so important for people, not only in China but around the world, lots of movement started. Free Ai Weiwei was called the movement, and because of that, like he became bigger than himself, and China couldn't. If he just was a normal person, probably he would just disappear, and that's it.
Yeah.
But in that case, China couldn't make him disappear, so they had to release it. Otherwise, they would admit they're not a free country. And and this opera, the values that are inside is metaphorically perfect to give this message to try to speak about these topics. So
Yeah.
that's what makes it special.
And it seems so timely where like here in the US it's a really scary time, and it feels like our constitution is under attack, and things I never thought I would see in my life are happening here at home. And I think a lot of Americans see other countries in the news going through these struggles, like in China and in other countries, and we lose kind of like a connection to it because like, oh, that could never happen here, and now it's happening on some people's doorsteps. It's crazy.
That's right. And what Ai Weiwei does is he used the backdrop to project, human rights and war, COVID, immigration, and so that way made it more contemporary. And all those things that we're dealing with right now were present. And there were only 9 days of performances from March 22nd through the 31st, and it was like an installation. It will never happen again.
Yeah.
And that's what's so beautiful about our film is that it captures, his process, his creative process, his collaboration with other artists, the conversations. It's really a little intimate peek into his world.
What were some of the most surprising things that you discovered doing this project on Ai Weiwei? Like, were moments where you're like, oh, I didn't understand that's his process. Like, what were kind of the tidbits that really popped out?
Well, I started like I usually shoot with a very small crew because I want to be as invisible as possible so things can keep flowing around me without knowing them that they have like a camera shooting them. And so I started like from, let's say, from very far, trying to be as discreet as possible. And he didn't talk much, but he gave like very precise like rules, guides to the singers, to the extras, and everything. Because yeah, I think probably he approached it almost like it was one of his installations. And the other very interesting thing is that he added one character that didn't exist
Okay.
In Puccini's Turandot. And because everything what's happening on stage doesn't move much, so because the singers they have their voice, so they have to sing,
Hmm.
and the extra and all the stage that represents, of course, the whole world, and the higher you are, then I mean there is a whole hierarchy. So the more high you are on the stage, the more powerful you are. The deeper lower you are, then you are almost part of the forgotten. So
Yeah.
and so he added this one character who had to show and represent the inner feelings of the characters. So he moves in certain ways that, of course, can reflect anger or sadness or other things. And yeah, and I mean, one thing, yes, that really like that really where I really understood something new, or I learned, sorry, something new, is watching him. And because he has such strong ideas, those ideas gets inside of you. And so suddenly all the people around him are bringing their lives inside, because they you actively feel a participant of what is happening. You cannot just execute, you need to do something because you feel really part of this. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was so bold and brave to add a character to a traditional opera that's been so revered. It was beautiful, and I love that character as he moves around and expresses the emotion that's on stage. And when Ai Weiwei in the film says no touching, there will be no touching because there's only singing. It's a funny, a sweet moment. You get to see his process a little bit of how he thinks and how he sees things.
I remember those few years back now, that Peter Jackson had put out a Beatles documentary about like them making their album. It was like their recordings and whatnot. And all my friends were like, "Oh, you gotta watch it." And I started watching it, and I felt, the only way I can describe it is I felt like I walked in on someone changing, because it's
Mm.
like, to me, like that process can be so personal. And I felt like it wasn't what like I don't feel like that documentary was necessarily made at the time to be released, so it felt very like voyeuristic. Like were moments like, I understand that like Ai Weiwei knew this was obviously going on, but were there moments where you just kind of felt like, oh, should we show this part of his process? This is really like, that can be so personal. Did it ever feel that, to have that kind of feeling?
Well, I grew. I mean, I grew up in theater since I was a kid, so I knew very well all the steps that an opera or a ballet production needs to have. And so in this case, I almost went every time I needed to shoot something. It's because I knew I would use it. Then, of course, I shot something more,
Yeah.
but I knew, okay, I need to get the when the costumes, they rehearse the costumes. I know what will happen when the director will meet the cast for the first time. I know because there are certain things that they just will happen. And in the theater, you have to follow, strict hours of work and everything. So it was like a box. So I know things will happen in that moment and when. And yeah, so in this case, probably in a different if I would shoot another documentary, then probably I would find myself like in situations where, okay, is this really meaningful or not?
Yeah.
Or yes, I'm here.
I didn't
I
realize it was so structured. Yeah.
Sorry.
I didn't realize it was so structured.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like it's like it's very close to movie production. You have day one, this will happen. Day two, this will happen. Day three, and so on. Everything is scheduled. So you because you have a premiere and you have to do everything in that period. At the beginning, it was like 1 month and a half.
Yeah.
So you have 1 month and a half to prepare like 2 hour and a half opera.
There were
And so
650 people involved in this. It's a
Oh
lot
my
of
God.
parts. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. And from the bit I saw is like everything was completely designed specifically for this. So like, costumes, sets, and it had very like a very modern feel. Like what was like how much of that process did you get like on kind of like the art design and costuming and stuff like that? Was that a huge part of what you were looking to get?
Well, because we started shooting in February 2020, and
Oh,
basically,
that's a terrible time to start shooting.
exactly. So I don't have to add
Yeah.
much, but anyway, the whole footage, I mean, everything that I have in my hard drives, I have like 20 days of shooting.
Yeah.
And for a documentary, that's almost nothing. Because the first 10 days or even 9 days, I shot it in 2020 and and I didn't do not even one interview because I had to start the interviews the next day the lockdown arrived. So I started shooting as much as I could and I thought I would have now 1 month and a half to shoot. And after 9 days, we were completely shut down. And I remember then I called Marta Zaccaron, the producer, and I said to her, this can have two different, we have now two different options. Or this project is destroyed forever, or this could be like our greatest opportunity to talk about how art is important because it was taken away. No one could express, and we could do it through the people that make art, like Weiwei, and of course all the opera world. And yeah, and the only thing I did, I called Weiwei and I said, I need you a 10 minutes interview on what's happening right now. Because then after that, I managed to do like a short trailer
Yeah.
that and I could find new producers, new fans, and everything, and I feel that in that moment, even if you're not a fan of opera or you're not really into art, but that moment, I remember, Christine's remember, you remember where you were, where when the lockdown arrived.
Oh,
Exactly.
absolutely. Yeah.
It's
And
such a
that
pivotal moment for the film, for the world, but for the film too. Everything changed. And then a new conductor came on, Oksana, and that changed the tenor. Then the war happened. There were so many things that happened in the real world that were impacting us and the emotions that were going on.
And I think that's one of my favorite things about documentaries is especially like when they're larger in scope is there's things that aren't scripted, you can't control, that just happen. um One of my absolute favorite documentaries is called Murder Ball, and it's about the American paraplegic rugby team. And halfway through production, one of the main, I don't want to say characters, but main people they were profiling had a heart attack. And he actually called the production company first and was like, "Get down to the hospital. I'm having a heart attack," which is insane. But it added to the story, and like that's got to be like a real challenge when you're making documentaries. You always going to have to be pivoting and dealing with those challenges.
Yeah, I mean, you pray for things like this not to happen, but on the other side, almost you hope something will happen because you can build something dramatic on it. I mean, I remember like the first festivals where me and Christine were going, and we got these questions many times. I said, okay, it's like, you are doing a documentary about a football player, and there are the and he had to prepare for the world championship, and in the middle he breaks his legs. It's something horrible, but for the documentary it's something incredible because in that moment everyone can relate, and you are just into the story, and that's it, and you hope he will make it to the world championship. So and it was the same for us. In that moment you hope we get on stage and manage to communicate the message that Ai Weiwei wanted to give to people.
It brings more humanity to a show, to a documentary, definitely. That, as Maxim said, that more people can relate to what's going on. It's part of the fabric of their life as well.
Yeah, and I think the pandemic is created a whole genre of entertainment and media of that. I was watching an old TV show, and they were like writing in Hurricane Katrina, and I feel like the pandemic's gonna be the same way, where it's gonna be like, oh, this happened, post pandemic or during the pandemic, because it was so significant everywhere that anything you created could not be affected by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you end up having to do remote interviews? Like, did you just pause the production? Like, how did you handle the lockdown?
No, but I couldn't do much because I had this 10 minutes interview with Ai Weiwei, because then he flew back in London, and that's it. So I mean, I didn't have content, just I except this short trailer. Then I didn't had I said, okay, let's just wait, and I really hope one day this virus, we will defeat the virus and things will get back to normal. And we had to wait 2 years to come back.
It's crazy.
And then I started to do all the interviews the first day, of course.
Yeah. So is the film now like making the circuit for like film festivals, and like what's going on with the film now?
Yeah, we've done almost 20 film festivals, and really important ones. CPH Doc in Copenhagen was our international launch, and there was a great spotlight with Maxim and Ai Weiwei in conversation. Yeah, we've done Hot Docs in Toronto, and we launched at Santa Barbara. But we've done almost 20, and they're still ongoing, and we're up for Academy consideration, so we're on the portal, the Academy portal, and our agency, Ai Weiwei's agency, UTA, is going to host a screening coming up. So yeah, it's a lot going on right now. We just had our LA opening at the Lemley for a week, and they were packed audiences, and very exciting, great reviews, doing really well.
What's the process like for the Academy consideration? Like, are you up against hundreds of films, or like how does that?
About 175 documentaries this year, I heard.
Wow.
And what happens is that they vote, the documentary branch votes, December 8th is when they start voting for a short list. And there's 15 usually on the short list, and then that's whittled down to 5 that are on the nomination. Yeah, nominating.
So are you, because I feel like there's two types of people: the people who are like, I want to win, and the people who are like, oh, it's just an honor to be nominated. Like, are you really pushing for it to win, or are you just more kind of like absorbing the like, oh, it's great to be part of it in general? I feel like I'm more I want to win kind of
Part
person.
of it is that it's just we want the world to see the film, and that's the most important thing. That's what drives all of us, I think, as activists and as it's such a beautiful and important, meaningful film that's about human rights and social justice. As you said, it's such a timely thing right now, and it expresses those things with such beauty. With Maxim is such an incredible artist. So and also pays tribute to most of Ai Weiwei's great works of art. So you see the global map that Ai Weiwei did as part of the stage. There's so many references to his work throughout the opera and in the film.
Yeah, in the brief time that like this interview came together, and what little research I was able to do, like I was really kind of shocked and impressed because he helped design the Bird's Nest Olympic Stadium, but then at the same time protested his own work, which shows like that's like who does that, and it was really fascinating. So
well, that's actually there is a like a funny story, but I mean we didn't put in the documentary because it would open a very other topics. But anyway, I think he wasn't working any. I mean, he wasn't working anymore in China, but I mean, he already had some troubles in China.
yeah.
And the government gave the project to a Swiss agency to build the stadium. And without the government knowing, the agency in Switzerland gave the project to a Weiwei.
Oh,
And so
really?
he did it without, of course, at the beginning, without them knowing. So and it was actually like a win for him because otherwise, I mean, he did something that probably the government didn't want him to do, but he did it anyway. So
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize. I just saw the part where he was talking about how the government displaced people to build it, and try to remove people, and yeah, it's he's definitely someone now that he's on my radar. I'm like, I definitely need to find out more, and it's just one of those people that you're just like, wow, he seems so still, like in every like video he just seems very calm, and but like he seems like to have like these huge things to say, and it's very intriguing. So like I'm very excited to like learn more, and watch your documentary, and it's to me it's almost like finding out like a whole new style of cuisine. You're like, oh my god, there's so much to learn. I want to learn so much about it. And partly why I do this podcast is I get to be exposed to things I wasn't able to before. And so I'm really excited to check this stuff out. And do you guys remember the first time that Ai Weiwei came across your radar? The first thing that you saw him doing?
yeah, I remember first time I met. I mean, he was coming. He was at the Roma house, and he was like 1 year before the actual production, and I probably talking about contracts, or I have no idea why he was there, but not for the production, just for some meetings probably, and I knew I would ask him at some point. I want to do a documentary about his Turandot. So I just approached him and I said, I'm a big of your, I'm a big fan of yours, and thank you. I'm looking forward to see your Turandot. But I didn't say anything about the documentary. About the documentary, I talked with him like 1 year later about this. He didn't remember me, of course, but
Yeah.
that was like the first time I met him.
I think that I've always been interested in him as an artist, and then seeing, because in LA and in New York and other places, I've seen his work. And then when he had his documentaries started to come out, I met him a couple of times and was really impressed with who he was, and his energy is he's very humble, and he does have a lot to say, but very quietly, except with his art. He's a
Yeah.
disruptor with his art. So that's the way he comes across, and it's exciting to be around that energy. I like him. I like him a lot. He's one of the few people on the world stage right now with his art that's making a difference, that's moving things forward, that's exposing things. It's important.
Yeah, you said it far better than I did. It's that quiet, has a lot to say, but says it quietly, and
Mhm.
you know, so much of the discourse now is yelling and screaming and getting in each other's face, and it's like, sometimes when you do that, it's like you really don't have anything to say. You're just saying stuff loudly, you know.
Right. Well, he was exiled with his father. His father was a poet. So they were exiled to Siberia when he was a young boy. And I think that really affected his spirit,
Yeah.
and he represents all men, humankind in his art. So he feels he has a duty in a way um, to represent and put forth these ideas about human rights and social justice.
Uh, it streaming? When will it be streaming? I mean, I hate to say it, but that's like where entertainment's going now. Is if it's not streaming online, it's just not there for the masses. But is there a plan for that?
Yes, there is. And so right now we're in the awards campaign right now. So towards the end of spring, maybe by that time we'll have a distributor and hopefully a streamer in place. But right now, in fact, Maxim's going to Germany, and because we're opening in theaters in Germany, we had our LA opening here
Yeah.
last week. So there's a little bit of a rollout right now as well.
Uh, is there a website that if people want to like find out where it's playing or when it's debuting or streaming that they
Yes.
can go to?
Yes, it's Weiwei's turn.film.com. And all of our screenings, all of our festivals are available there.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and if you want to donate to our social impact campaign, you could do that too.
Oh, great. What
Yeah,
what
we're
is,
rolling out there'll be a grassroots program of screenings, and that's all in the works right now. We have a special poster that we'll be selling, a lot of different things going on.
oh. And what are the funds to help roll out the movie or do they go to something else?
Would you repeat that?
So, you said to donate to the
Yes, we have a social impact campaign that's being mounted where we're doing screenings in opera houses and other places, grassroots organizations, human rights, Amnesty International, those types of things.
Oh, okay, I see. I see.
Yeah. And
Oh, that's
educational
exciting.
programs will be in schools.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well, if we still have schools here in the US.
that's right.
Unfortunately. So I know you guys are like in the heat of getting this movie out, and I mean I can't imagine the amount of work that you guys have, but are you already thinking or what's next for you guys? Like what do you have in the works that you can talk about?
Well, of course, yes, I have some ideas, and right now, actually, together with Michele Kogo, the other writer that wrote also Turandot, we are like developing, trying to figure out, and I would like to do a narrative film, so I'm trying to move a little bit more in that direction. Um, yeah, I don't want to like say
Yeah,
what it's
yeah, yeah.
about, why, because everything is still so fragile that I would like to keep it until I don't like have my ideas very clear.
Sure.
So, but of course, yes, I mean, all the time. I also work a lot in the commercial world, so in that case, I experiment a lot. I like the short factor, so in a short amount of time, you have to give like strong emotion and push and everything. So I like to go on many different kind of medias and stories. So
Mm. I have two other Italian documentaries. One is a Viva Verdi, which is also in theatrical release right now and also up for consideration. And also Children of the River, which is about the Parma and the Po River and the people that live along there. So I love these. Working with the Italians is really my favorite thing. I've citizenship, lucky to spend a lot of time there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a place that I have yet to get to. I've been to several countries overseas, but I've not been to Italy. My neighbor goes all the time, and he's always like, you should go.
You're so close, Andy, from there. It's not very far enough.
It's only like 6 or 7 hours on a plane.
And now you've got a friend in Rome, so Maxim will take care of you. That's the most beautiful city in the world. That's where you should start.
And that's, to me, that whenever I travel, that's like my favorite thing to do is people are always like, oh, did you go see this, monument or whatever? I go, no, I kind of like find a local person and be like, what should I see? What do you do? Like, where do you go to eat? Because they always have the best, inside information.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I want to say thank you to you guys. This was fantastic. This whole process, like I said, it's only been a couple of days, I think, since I got the original email, and has just opened my eyes to like, new artists and new documentaries. So I love that, and I'm looking forward to it. And I hope our listeners go out and check out this movie either at a screening or when it is streaming. And this was awesome. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
It was
No
fun.
problem. And so listeners, make sure you check out Weiwei's. Maxim, can you pronounce the play? Turandot?
Turandot.
Okay, I think I got close. Either in your area or hopefully when it comes out in streaming in the springish. And and we'll catch you guys again next week.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/Inebri-art to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at Inebri-art.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or at Inebri-art6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, Bar Talk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebri-art, and all the other shows on the Inebri-art Network, which you can find at Inebri-art.com. Thanks again for listening.